partner Olaniwu Ajayi. All right, so let's talk about promoting the rule of law in Nigeria, and that will be the focus as we speak with the chairman-elect, Nigeria Bar Association Lagos chapter. Well, you can be part of the conversation at any point during the program. The numbers to call when you would love to call is 0703 2277 338 and 0909 555 1039. Again, 0703 2277 338 is the number to call, or you call 0909 555 1039. Would love to hear from you. You can also send in WhatsApp messages to 0703 2277 338.
Yes, well, this is really important because of the role the Nigerian Bar Association plays, especially with respect to protection or promoting the rule of law and human rights in Nigeria. And we know that Lagos is a melting pot for all issues, either good, bad, and all the rest in Lagos. Lagos is good, bad, the ugly, and the most beautiful. And the NBA, as an institution, has that bolding duty to ensure that, to a reasonable extent, human lives are valued. There's protection of human lives and property. Well, that's business of the government, but the NBA, as an institution, has that responsibility to put to be a check, on the government. So just some weeks, in fact, 2 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken, the NBA Lagos branch held an election. At the conclusion of that election, you were declared the winner as the chairman of that election, talking about NBA Lagos. You had a manifesto, which is, you have called the New Deal manifesto. Can you tell us about what you mean by this New Deal, even before we move on to discussing protection of the rule of law?
Okay, thank you very much, and it's nice to be here. Well, the New Deal is as simple as ABC. The New Deal seeks to elevate the standards of lawyers. The New Deal seeks to let people know that there's a lot of opportunities in the legal space. The New Deal seeks to get our colleagues to believe more in themselves. And the New Deal also seeks to get the public to believe more in the justice delivery system in Nigeria. And we want to use Lagos State as a case study, as a starting point, to begin to shape on what the justice delivery system in Nigeria ought to look like. Lagos State has over 12,000 registered lawyers.
Right.
Lagos NBA, I beg your pardon, has over 12,000 registered lawyers, and that's the largest bar in Nigeria. And we would like to use the Premier Bar to set the pace for what legal practice should be like. And so our plan is that at the end of our 2 years in office, we would have left a legacy where the law, the justice delivery system, beginning in Lagos State, is more predictable, where you can tell the years you spend in court, at least beginning from the Lagos State High Court and all the courts within the Lagos environs, where you know your rights, where law officers know that they cannot continue to harass Nigerian citizens. That is the New Deal that we would like to leave behind after 2 years in office.
That's interesting, where you know your right and law officers cannot continue to harass citizens. Well, taking it a step further, considering the motto of the NBA, which is promoting the rule of law, how do you now intend to lead from the front? Because Bisi Makanjuola is the chairman-elect of the Nigerian Bar Association Lagos branch. How do you intend to lead from the front in the promotion, promotion of the rule of law in Nigeria? You have rightly said that NBA Lagos is the largest NBA branch in Nigeria, over 125 branches that we have in Nigeria. How do you intend to lead from the front?
Okay, so I think it's not about talk, it's about action. And jokingly, my campaign posters, I didn't wear any suit because I felt that I wanted to work, and I folded my sleeves.
But you are wearing a suit now.
Well, so because I followed my sleeves, and I wanted people to see that we're going into office to work. And I told my ESCO members that would like for every member of the ESCO to be seen to have worked by each and every one of us delivering on our core mandate, and also on the mandates that our colleagues who did not win would have implemented if they got into office. So leadership for me, it's carrying everybody along and making sure that each and every member of the ESCO, will do what we have to do. So for instance, we've begun some conversations with certain stakeholders to see how they can help to advance the cause of the administration of the bar in Lagos State. Our annual general conference is coming up in Abuja in a month's time, and we'll begin to set the pace for how the bar should be carried along, beginning from the Lagos bar. And so I like to say that it's not about Bisi Makanjuola, but it's about each and every member of my ESCO, doing what they have promised to deliver to our colleagues. And one other thing that we've done again is we've been asking our colleagues, what are the pain points that you see in the NBA Lagos? And we're collating all of those ideas so that, once we come into office, we'll find ways in which we can begin to address some of these issues. Some of them are low-hanging issues that you can easily deal with, but we admit that there's some of them that, we may not be able to deal with almost immediately. But at least we're collating all of the issues that our members are going through, and our plan is that we should be able to deliver or to address all of these issues at the end of our administration in office.
Yeah. So sticking with your leadership some more, let's talk welfare for members of the Nigerian Bar Association Lagos chapter. The immediate past, your predecessor now, immediate past chairman of the branch, has been reported to have said that 80% of the Nigerian law school graduates every single year end up in Lagos, and you've alluded to the fact that Lagos has the largest in the country. So how do you intend to promote and improve young lawyers' welfare and practice, and indeed the welfare of all lawyers under the Lagos branch?
Okay, so incidentally, our campaign manifesto has programs for every category of lawyers, so whether it's the young lawyers or the much older lawyers. So let's start from the young lawyers. Or let's even start from our colleagues who are still in the universities or our colleagues who are still in law school. One of the things we like to do would be to, because we realize that working with young lawyers, we realize that what is taught in law school is different from what obtains in practice. That's a fact. So the starting point is to create a synergy between what law school teaches you and what you find in practice. And so there are consultations to see how, to the extent possible, the curriculum of the law school can be amended, to reflect what you find in practice. And even beyond then, mentorship. So you don't have to have come out of law school, to be mentored by, lawyers in the profession. Quite a number of us at this side were not opportune to have been mentored whilst we were in school. So what we're doing is to follow up on the mentorship scheme that's currently, in place by the NBA, and then to assign young lawyers to law firms. It's part of our campaign.
Is that
programs.
different from the usual externship that young lawyers?
This formal.
Young lawyers.
Yes.
Okay.
So to attach young lawyers to law firms, formal mentorship scheme where certain lawyers are placed with certain law firms, they are mentored, they have opportunities at those law firms, and this is minus secondments. So you have formal mentorship scheme where certain lawyers certain senior lawyers, mentor young lawyers as a formal mentorship scheme. And in addition to that, there's then the formal secondment scheme where we'd encourage law firms to take on board young lawyers on secondment programs. It could be 1 month, it could be 2 months, it could be 3 months. That's within the Lagos bar. We're also working on secondment to the extent possible. international secondments, but I mean, would not, say much about that at this point. But there's also we're doing that also, where opportunities are given to young lawyers to go abroad to begin to understand the practice of law from another dimension beyond what you find in Nigeria. And then for our colleagues, who are much more senior in the bar, is to give them some benefits. So beyond paying your branch dues and your bar practicing fees, what do you get from being a financial member of the bar? Our administration is working on certain perks that members would get for paying their branch dues as at when due. So we campaigned about the health scheme. We campaigned about helping to give a seamless delivery of bar materials, helping to deliver our members stamp and seal, which is very, very critical, because there's always this problem about delivery of stamp and seal for members. So we're looking at ways in which we can, improve the lot of our members welfare-wise, because for paying your branch dues, as at when due, you must get something in return. And those things, we're working on them. And once we are sworn in, we will begin to make certain announcements.
You hit the ground running.
Absolutely, absolutely. But clearly, the new deal is it's a deal that would interest everybody, because there are lots of opportunities.
Right. So, Mr. Chairman-elect, so another question would be, what you have said are for the members. We know that the NBA as an organization should be in the forefront of protection of human rights. Every day on the streets of Lagos, there are issues of police brutality, issues of violation of human rights, either from the bus drivers, the man on the street. In fact, Section 34 of the ACJA, that's the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015, as well as the Police Act, Section 70 of that Police Act, as well as even the ACJL of Lagos, makes provision specifically mandating the Chief Judge, Falana SAN, had talked about this. In fact, several other individuals, if you look at what they do, there's a DSN, that's Duty Solicitors Network as well, run by Bayo Akinlade, where magistrates go to detention facilities, police stations, to make sure that people who should not be in this police station are not even in that place in the first place. They try summarily cases and allow them to go. How would you collaborate with the CG of Lagos State, as well as other stakeholders in that industry, the police, so that human rights violations are reduced in Lagos, especially within your jurisdiction, which is the Lagos branch?
Okay, I think the starting point is on training, particularly as relates to police officers, because I think that is starting point. So again, one of the things that we campaigned with was to say that we will create a stakeholder engagement session, or would that be a stakeholder engagement session where strategic DPOs will be invited, commissioners of police will be invited, lawyers will be invited, where we would agree on the fundamentals, the basics regarding human rights in Nigeria, regarding rule of law in Nigeria. That is the starting point. Now the second point is, and I think you talked about the DSN and what my brother Bayo Akinlade is doing. Incidentally, we had a conversation this morning, still on this same topic, and clearly the DSN is doing a lot. And the magistrates, who are available to go around, also doing a lot. But one of the things we like to do would be to have a formal engagement with the NBA Lagos, where the NBA Lagos is much more involved, and our colleagues are encouraged to be a part of this entourage when these visitations are going on. For them, it's an opportunity for them to even get briefs to the extent possible. And for us, it's an opportunity to further decongest the detention centers and the prisons. And so we would have those engagement sessions, and we're clear in our mind that with constant engagement, with our members coming out to assist more, to volunteer their time, these incidents of congested detention centers, congested correctional centers will be a thing of the past. It's something that is close to us, and we're clear in our mind that we can achieve it.
All right, we've been speaking with the chairman-elect, Nigerian Bar Association Lagos chapter, who has promised he would hit the ground running as soon as they inaugurated his administration is inaugurated. And we've been talking promoting the rule of law within Nigeria, and he of course is a partner at Olaniwu Ajayi. And we'll go on a short break now. When we get back from this break, it'll be time for you to join the conversation and let's know what you think, especially if you're a young lawyer, maybe practicing in Nigeria or still in the law school. You want to talk about what we are currently talking about. The chairman-elect has promised sufficient welfare for you and even established lawyers already. You have questions, you have contributions, you can join in via the phone lines 0703-2277-338, or you also send a WhatsApp message to that number. You can alternatively call 0909-555-1039. Public institutions and you as a program. You are live on Law FM 103.9. We'll be back in a moment.
Public institutions and you. We'll be right back.
There's only one station, that captivates you with the law. Law FM 103.9. The finest brew of the law, like you have never tasted. Only on Law FM 103.9.
Every individual should know about the law and their rights, because the law affects every aspect of daily living, irrespective of age or status. Law FM 103.9 ensures you get to hear the law, talk the law, and know your rights like never before. I am Khadija Okunulamidi. Keep listening to Law FM.
This is Public Institutions and You.
Thanks indeed for staying tuned. 51 minutes past 11 o'clock by the studio clock. This is Law FM 103.9, the station for knowledge and entertainment, your only law radio station. And guess what? We've got the chairman-elect, Nigerian Bar Association Lagos chapter here, talking to us about his administration yet to be inaugurated though. I'm talking about Bisi Makanjuola, also a partner, Olaniwu Ajayi. And thank you so much again, Mr. Chairman, for coming through. Appreciate it. And you've mentioned a lot already about what you plan to do with the Nigerian Bar Association Lagos chapter. Let's get talking some more as we take your calls and contributions as well. Again, numbers to call 0703-2277-338 and 0909-555-1039. A few more questions to you as we go to the phone lines. We'll take calls and contributions there. So let's talk about your views on conflicting decisions and judgment emanating from our law court, and how you hope to tackle this ugly situations. We've seen in several cases where a high court would give an order, a similar court in another state will give the same. How can this be addressed even within Lagos State?
Okay, so the issue of conflicting decisions is not new. As far back as the decision in Peters and Ashamu, I remember my Lord Honorable Justice Pastor Acholono, blessed memory, had warned against courts of coordinate jurisdictions giving conflicting decisions on the same subject matter. So it's something that has always been there. But I think the ways in which we can begin to address them, at least to begin to reduce the incidence of conflicting decisions from courts of the same or coordinate jurisdiction. And I think it starts from our colleagues. When you're doing a matter, you want to be sure that that matter has not been decided, or a similar matter has not been decided by another court of coordinate jurisdiction before now. If you do your research very, very well, you would know. And the law also expects you as counsel, if there is a case that does not support you, to bring to the attention of my law to say, oh, there's this decision, similar facts, and this is the holding in that decision. You may then implore the court on why, they should perhaps depart or not follow that decision in your case. So a lot, it's on us as counsel. We must make sure that we do not put the judges or the courts in the situations where, Judge A gives a decision that is contrary to what Judge B is then, given. And the second point in design is a collation of all of these decisions, such that when a judge is faced with a decision, there is a central database where he goes to check whether that decision or there is no conflicting order, that's been previously given by a brother or a sister court.
And you're hoping to do something in that direction?
It's a challenge. I don't know what the NBA can do, particularly the NBA Lagos can do in that regard. But what we can do really is, as it relates to our members, we can continue training and retraining our members to make sure that when you are stepping out, you want to step out adequately, and you don't step out to a court in Jalingo knowing fully well that another court in Osogbo has given a decision that is contrary to your case. So you must begin from home, where we as colleagues must train ourselves to do the right thing, and then let us assist the judges by also making sure that the judges are available. I don't see why the Court of Appeal should not have a central database of all of their judgments, all of their decisions, so that you don't have a situation where a court in Ekiti State gives a contrary decision to what a court in Lagos State has done. If those judgments are available publicly in a database that is easily accessible, these incidents of conflicting decisions will be reduced. But it begins from we as counsel doing the right thing and not putting the courts in such difficult positions.
Right. So that brings me to perhaps my final question, because we are really out of time. That brings me to the question of administration of justice in Nigeria. Most times you see adjournment, you see judges writing in longhand, no stenographers, no equipment and all that. How do you, as the chairman-elect of the largest bar in Nigeria, out of 125 branches that we have, what do you intend to do? What would you be putting to the NBA president in this regard? And secondly, just recently, Tinubu signed into law an act, the Constitution Amendment Order 37, where the ages of judges have been increased now to 70 years. What's your view on this, and how we can better improve our justice?
Okay, so quickly, I'm happy with the elongation of the age of judges. Now they don't have to retire at 65. You can continue working if you feel that you are able to. It's not mandatory for you to stay till 70. We know judges who have not stayed till 65 when they were 65. So it's a welcome development. There's no point retiring a judge at his peak, where he still has the capacity, where he still has the mental fortitude to continue to do the job. So it's a welcome decision, and I think that's in tandem with global best practices. That's my short answer on that. On the first point, it's easy for us to blame the courts and say that there are adjournments today, adjournments tomorrow, but the courts themselves, are the courts well equipped? Do the judges have do they have technology? Is there power in courts? I was talking to a colleague the other day, and I was told that a particular branch had to fix buy a generator for their courts, and they also had to put fans in each of their courtrooms to make the sitting conditions bearable for the judges and for their colleagues. So the starting point is, do we have adequate facilities? Is there light in courts? Are the judges well remunerated? So we're collating all of these pain points, and when we meet with the hierarchy of the judiciary, particularly in Lagos State, and the representative of the governor of Lagos State, we'll table all of our demands in relation to the improvement of the justice delivery system. And let us begin with making our courts more accessible. The joke today of seeing in court, it's said because the belief is that you take forever in court. But if there's anything that we'll do, will be to make sure that we can begin to shorten the time that we spend in court by putting in place facilities and investing in the judiciary themselves and the justice delivery system in the country.
Thank you so much for that. Bisi Makanjuola is the chairman-elect, Nigerian Bar Association Lagos chapter. We've been speaking with him on public institutions and you today. We appreciate your being here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hopefully, we'll give you some time to breathe after the inauguration. We can then see how much the Lagos chapter of the Bar, Nigerian Bar Association, begins to breathe indeed. Many thanks indeed for coming. It's time for us to go until Wednesday for the midweek edition and Friday, of course, for the final edition of the show, Public Institutions and You. Please do stay safe and bye for now.